This is Tanner Davis. I'm just finishing up my building administration, building leadership portfolio. My name's Tanner Davis. I've been teaching at the high school level for the past 5 years. I graduated from K-State in 2010 with an Ag Ed degree that I used for my first 3 years of teaching. I started my career at S City High School, where I taught Ag Ed and sponsored FFA. After my first year, my wife and I got married in August of 2012, and I moved to Yates Center. I taught Ag and sponsored FFA for 2 years. After my second year, I moved to the PE side of things and became our head boys basketball coach and our head junior high football coach. I will graduate with my master's in building administration in May of 2016. Just real quick, some of my professional goals that I've thought about over this time is I would like to be using my degree within the next year or two as an assistant principal, AD. In the next 5 years, I would like to be in the principal role at a school. Also going back and getting certified at the district level. And in 10 years or so, I would like to be working at the district level. For my personal goals, those are ones that I guess just go to family for me. And I always think about first doing everything I can to support my family, my wife, Jenny, and my daughter, Addie. Anything to make their lives better. And then number two is getting my daughter involved in activities to keep her busy. She loves to be outside doing things at all times. And then three, hopefully add to our family and simply to continue to provide for my family, achieve their dreams and goals would be most of my personal goals for me. As we go through, we'll look a little bit at the portfolio and some of the things that I have in there, and we'll go from there. When we go into the activities and we look at the bibliography, you can see that I have my 10 here, and there's some that stick out. The very last one I really like that we look at is we talk about differentiated learning all the time, and as an administrator, I've really started looking into individualized learning, where we don't just focus on the middle part of the class. We've got to focus on the bottom 25 and the top 25, and we've got to be able to get all students learning. All students are capable of learning, and we need to figure out ways that we can get everybody involved and up to that point. Most of the other ones just focus on the principal and how how they're involved within school and so forth like that. The other article I like is Real Principals Listen. It's an article that talks about that principals listen to their teachers. Teachers are in the classroom every day. We need to listen to what they have to say. They probably know the students better than anybody since they see them every day. So those were just a couple articles that stuck out to me. Next in the activities, we have some evidence at the elementary level. A couple of my favorite days is always when Randy Nadler comes and help him supervise and help set up for that. The other cool day that I like is Patriot Day. Our high school goes over on 9/11, and they talk about it, and they show posters and things of what they remember about 9/11. So those are just some of the things for elementary that I have in there. Next, going into the district level, one of the cool things that I got to do over this past year was actually go to the Leadership Institute at Greenbush and Eudora, and that was very good for me to see what all an administrator goes through. They prepared you for difficult situations, difficult conversations, the media. So they did a great job, and this is something that I'd recommend to anybody that's going into administration, and even people that are already into administration. Next is secondary. This is one that's a little easier for me as I went through, simply because I'm at the secondary level. Every day I watched lunch, sat in on discipline, and then helped with a lot of sporting events, setting up track meets, setting up for baseball and volleyball. So those are just some things that I witnessed at secondary, and those are things that I think are great. Students need to see you out and about. They always remember what teacher is at those sporting events, so letting them see you be there is I think very important for all of us. As we go into the activity log, you can see that I have the log put in. I had a lot of hours. It was nice that we were given as much time as we were to get this practicum done, and I logged a lot of hours because I was lucky that I had an administration that let me be involved and really dig deep in there and see what it is, what it's like to be an administrator. Um, the administrator evaluation right here. You see I've got it in, and then we can go over and we look at the reflection paper, and we can see that we go through and really with the reflection, I'm not going to sit here and read it for everybody, but it was, I talk about a lot of just being an eye-opening for me. Seeing what the principal does or what the administration does. You think that they have a routine, but they truly don't, because they don't know what's going to come up throughout the day. And I quickly learned that as an administrator, you have to be probably the most flexible person in the building, because you have to be prepared for what may come your way. And you've got to be prepared to be a disciplinary person. You got to be prepared to be a friend. And then you also have to be able to be there for difficult situations, difficult conversations, and you've got to be there to help your teachers grow, students grow. I think that's the biggest part as an administrator is helping people and giving them the ability to grow and get better. Real quick, we'll just go through. I just had some slides put together that go through the standards real quick. Real quick on standard 1, an education leader promotes the success of every student by facilitating the development, articulation, implementation, and stewardship of a vision of learning that is shared and supported by all stakeholders. I put the picture of the kids at Patriot Day because I think, first off, when we talk about all stakeholders, we're talking community, we're talking school, teachers, administrators, school board members, everybody. And the reason I put this picture is here you can see all these little kids watching over the program, and they're really paying attention. But it's a big reminder of why we do the job that we do, that we're here for them. We're here to help them get engaged and find things that interest them, and that's the biggest thing for me. And seeing them down there paying attention is an awesome thing for me to see. Number 2, an education leader promotes the success of every student by advocating, nurturing, and sustaining a school culture and instructional program conducive to student learning and staff professional growth. One thing I put on here is the picture down there is they're teaching how to make bread, and you can see all the kids are engaged, are really interested, and we're just continuing to try and show kids different things. That making bread is something old, but it's something that can be passed on still, and they still find very interesting. The other thing I put on here, in one of my first years here, I got to go when we were really looking at different teacher evaluations. I got to go sit in on an 8-hour session and for McCrell and really study it. I went for a high school, but then when I came back I had to teach it as a district. But it's just a reminder that things are always changing. You never know what's going to be thrown our way when it comes to evaluations or curriculum or whatever it may be, but we have to be prepared and be ready to grow and help each other out. The third one, an education leader promotes the success of every student by ensuring management of the organization, operation, and source for a safe, efficient, and effective learning environment. I just put a picture down there of the volleyball team when they got runner-ups at sub-state, but we're trying to promote the success of every student, and that's one of the biggest things for us as educators. We've got to keep in mind every student and make sure that we create a safe environment for them to learn in and go from there. Next one, standard 4, an education leader promotes the success of every student by collaborating with faculty and community members, responding to diverse community interests and needs, and mobilizing community resources. The picture I put was here with our wellness committee, but the reason I put that is you can see just off this picture we have our superintendent, we have a community member, we have our nurse, and then also our the lunch lady that's that's controls what goes on in our cafeteria and everything. And we, collaborated to work over and look at our wellness program and things that may need to be changed in that. But the biggest thing is, we're involving everybody and we're trying to better it for the students. Number 5, as an education leader, promotes the success of every student by acting with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner. And I think as an administrator, that's one of the biggest things we have to pay attention to is one is fairness and being consistent. I talked earlier with discipline that we have a chart that we follow, and that keeps us there to be consistent. But at the same time, when we look at fairness and ethical manner, we have to treat every kid to the same almost. It doesn't matter whether a board member's son comes in, whether it's the principal's son that comes in, or the superintendent's. We have to treat them the same way we would treat any other kid, because otherwise that's going to cause a lot of trouble within the school, within the community, and just going to put yourself in a bad situation. Number 6, an education leader promotes the success of every student by understanding, responding to, and influencing the political, social, economical, legal, and cultural context. I put the picture down here of me at the Leadership Institute again because we covered a lot of legal stuff, and we have to make sure as educators, as administrators, that we're following the law, the political part of it is, we face a lot of things every day as administrators that get political and to different points that we could make people very unhappy. But we still have to make sure that we know our jobs and we follow everything the way that it needs to be. And when I look at all these standards, I think they all go hand in hand. Just for the fact that we have to promote the success of every student, and whatever that takes, we have to do it. But to sum it up, that there was a little bit of a look at my portfolio, going back and seeing, and this has been a great experience for me. It's taken me just over 3 years, I think, to finish this up. But it's been a great program. I've learned a lot over it, and like I said, I got lucky to have administrators that really put me in situations to learn different scenarios that I would see as a principal or as any other administrator. But the program has been set up great. The classes flow right along with it. That was one thing that I really liked about the Leadership Institute. When I went in there, I'd been prepared for a lot of the scenarios they were putting us into because I had seen through my classes that I've taken through this program. So, first off, I want to thank my administrators for letting me do this, and then just simply for Fort Hays State for putting this together and making it a worthwhile thing to complete. And I look forward to starting my journey and heading into that field of administration. So, thank you.